Hey everybody, just checking in on everybody. Welcome to, I guess, this small YouTube series I'm going to try to start up in order to promote my Kickstarter. The name of the book is called Eidolon Atomic, and it is not, well, it's hard to describe it, really, in full. But for the sake of just, being able to make contact with my audience, I will be making a few videos. Hopefully, my situation will improve as everybody is allowed to come on this journey with me. And from a man who just simply wants to start an independent novel that may turn into something greater. And hopefully it'll be a really good thing. To get started, geez, it is 2017, and what a year it already is. Everybody was dreading the arrival as the dictator Donald Trump finally took office. And as the world watched in horror as yet another white man became president of the United States. And women's rights have been going into question, and people haven't stopped protesting. They've literally been protesting for like a month straight almost. And it's really a miraculous thing to see. It is insane. The amount of political activity that came after one of the most confusing elections that we have ever had in this nation's young history. But what can you say about it in an age of hyperinformation and hyperpolitics, and essentially every single bit of false information even allowed onto the internet has a ripple effect that is unlike anything that we would see previously. So, it is calling everything into question. Everybody's questioning their loyalty to the United States. People are questioning even if this country still exists anymore. You got California that's threatening to secede from the Union. And a lot of people are actually kind of supporting that. I mean, for people who know, California is one of the greatest economies in the world or something like that. A state having multiple factories and outlets for technological industry and so forth and whatnot. And all over this Republican who has gotten into office and has decided to do what every other president has done for the last decade. And everybody's losing their minds. Another president? Oh no! And it's just like, okay, well, maybe he put a ban on Syria, but as somebody who always considers the opposing argument, I mean, is calling a ban on a nation when we have a CIA that is supposedly incriminated for doing drugs and dealing drugs, and calling a ban to nations that might be under threat of a CIA that is particularly not in control of the presidential cabinet into question. And that's the thing, is that you have to look at the evidence and where it comes from, and you have to look at who would benefit from the placement of wrongful information in the hands of a president who may or may not have business assets in that particular part of the world. Does he? Does he not? What are those business assets? I mean, the land industry is essentially the highest grossing industry known in most corporations. And to consider that Trump is a real estate man of sorts would put most of the presidency of the United States into question over what they find the land value of the Middle East to truly be. So, with all of that into question, and considering that we do have a Republican president, and Republicans are just so adamant on wanting to reduce the power of government so much that they actually had the government shut down, if nobody remembers that. And we essentially moved forward into an era of American government where everybody's literally trying to tiptoe through a minefield while playing laser tag and wearing their company logos. So it comes down to really what you understand of government and what you understand of politics, which at this point, government and politics are just like, geez, like how do you even describe them? And it is just one of the most uncertain times in history right now. As I sit here, I am a homeless man with a voice of gold, but as I watch all of these other refugees come in from countries where essentially the thing that they should be doing is turning around and buying the real estate in order to establish what the new country's regime would actually be, is what these refugees should be trying to do. If you literally come from a war-torn nation where everything has literally been exploded, then it is your time to buy as much land in that particular part of the world as you possibly can. And all these refugees are getting help. And essentially that's how the government works. And that the United States will give you a place to live, essentially, so you can plan a coup on your nation. Many African dictators have been educated in the United States. And it all boils down to this political concept where you're just like, well, this is the government, and these are the people, and these are the people, and this is the chapel, and you open your hands, and they're in the steeples, and it's just become like this bizarre children's game of who can outlast the... Geez, how do you even describe that thing? Who can outlast the onslaught of mudslinging? And the biggest mudslinger will stand victor, and that is why Trump won. But it's uncertain. So I'll be making videos about my observations on government and current events and so much and so forth. As I try to get the message of my book, Eidolon Atomic, out there. It's a very political science fiction novel. It's considered one of the best new science fiction novel concepts out there. And once I am done getting it up to par, which the version I have on Smashwords right now is just garbage, then I will let you guys know. The Kickstarter is already going. Go donate if you want, to see an actual good story to come out of such a chaotic time. And thank you. This is C.V. Grimm's, the Golden Voice Author of America, signing off.